Don't worry, you might have seen in the thumbnail that there's 3 secret projects on here, but those aren't all taking up this list. Let's get into it. Hello, welcome to my channel. This is my top 10 priority standalones to get into. This is an assortment. It's mostly fantasy, but there is some things outside of fantasy as well. And let's just go ahead and jump right into it. So, number 1 on my list is Pet Sematary, because this is what I will be reading very shortly as my last read of spooky season. And I am very excited to get into this. I've heard a lot of people say very good things. It is a lot of people's favorite Stephen King novel, and I can't wait to get into it. I think it's going to be a very impactful read, and I am excited to check it out. Let's get into the next one. So, next is a bit of a cheat, and it is what is on my thumbnail. It is all the secret projects. I have been reading a lot of the Cosmere. I have read the first Mistborn trilogy. I've read Warbreaker, Elantris. I've read all the Stormlight Archive books that are out, but I have not read the secret projects yet. I am halfway through Mistborn Era 2. I've read the first 2 novels, and I'm trying to finish the last 2 before Stormlight 5 comes out. And then maybe, just maybe, if I have a little bit of time, maybe I'll throw in one of these. But I absolutely plan to get into them at some point. I am excited. Yumi and the Nightmare Painter, I think, is what I'm excited for most, because aesthetically, I just like it a lot. The art is beautiful. I mean, I can't mention the art and not bring it up here. Look at this cover. It is awesome. Like, end pages. So nice. And let's just find something inside really quick. Boom. That is beautiful. Yeah, I've heard some comparisons to like Final Fantasy X, and I am a big fan of Final Fantasy, so I am excited to get into those. Let's get into the next one. So next on my list is a newcomer. When looking up new releases for the series that I do, this one kind of stood out to me, and it's called The Doll Makers by Lynn Buchanan. And this one, again, aesthetically, seems awesome. A lot of people say it gives Ghibli vibes, Studio Ghibli, and I am a fan of that. So, I am interested in this book. So, yeah. The Doll Makers by Lynn Buchanan is number 3 on my list. Let's get into number 4. So the 4th standalone I'm looking to get into is Wild Cuckoo Land by Anthony Doerr. And this one I just saw on a video from Talking Story, where he had somebody else read this novel, and they were blown away by it. And from what I heard about it, it sounds like it is a special type of novel. There is like 4 different time periods that it's all set in, running at the same time, and there's connections between each. It's like kind of fantasy, kind of science fiction with like the future, and then there's the past, and then there's I am very intrigued by this book. Their video that just came out. Look up Talking Story, and they talk about Cloud Cuckoo Land. They talk about it way better than I can, and I am very intrigued by the premise, and sounds pretty awesome. Let's get into the next one. So next, we have The Book Thief by Marcus Zuzak. And this one, I just saw Jimmy Nuts over at the Fantasy Network, which is not triple X rated, it's fantasy, and his last name's Nuts. I just saw him talking about this book, so definitely go check him out and his video, because that put this book on my radar. It sounds like a heartbreaking read, but it sounds like an impactful read, and I am very excited to check this out at some point. I'm not sure how much more I can say other than that. It seems it's a historical fiction in Nazi Germany, and it's a heartbreaking read. I'll just say that. And I definitely want to look into it. Like I said, go check out the video over at the Fantasy Network about it. Jimmy did a very good job talking about this book and getting me to want to read it much better than I am doing right now at getting you to want to read it. So definitely go check out his video. It's a great one. Let's get into the next one. So next we have The Lions of Al Rasan by Guy Gavriel Kay. I am super interested to get into Guy Gavriel Kay because I hear tons of great things. A lot of people have been giving a lot of his stuff 5 stars, and just knowing his history with working with Tolkien and stuff like that, I am very interested to start getting into some of his novels. I know Brandon Sanderson said that he's one of his favorite authors, and with Brandon Sanderson being one of my favorites, I definitely want to check out Guy Gavriel Kay. I know his prose is a little more intricate than Brandon Sanderson's, but I think I'm a fan of that. I think while Brandon Sanderson is one of my favorite authors and I love his stories, I think I enjoy a little bit more intricate prose than what he does. But his stories are just so cool that can't beat them. But with that said, I do definitely want to try and get into Guy Gavriel Kay as well. Let's get into the next one. Next on my list is To Ride Hell's Chasm from Jenny Wirtz. This is an author that I am very excited to try and get into. She has a 10-book series that just finished out, and a lot of people are going to start buddy reading in January, and I am interested to try and hop in on that as well, but I've never read anything from her, and I know that her prose can bounce off of people, so I'm going to read To Ride Hell's Chasm first. I have a feeling I'm going to enjoy it because, like I said, I think I do like a little bit more intricate prose, but I want to try this story anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm planning to try and do it in December, either before or after Stormlight 5. We'll see, but I definitely want to read this novel. It's gotten a lot of high praise and seems really cool. Let's get into the next one. Next on my list is Piranesi. So this one I've seen a lot of people say really good things about. I know the guys over at Two to Ramble love this one a lot. I know John from Talking Story loves this one a lot. I know Brian at BellTube loves this one a lot, and all of them say you need to read this book, and they don't want to tell you much about it, because that in itself is part of this novel. figuring out what the heck is going on, I guess. And I'm intrigued. I like myself a bit of mystery, and people say this book is wonderful. They rate it highly, and I definitely want to check it out. So that is Piranesi by Susanna Clark. Let's get into the next one. So number 9 on my list is The Sword of Kaigen. This is a big one. A lot of people really love this book, and it is a self-published book from ML Wang, and I really want to check this one out. So much so that after a lot of people, I've seen their videos on it, they're all loving it. I bought the new special edition. So whenever that comes around, I will be getting it then, and I will probably read it right away. I don't know when it's going to be coming in. Sometime next year, probably. But I am super excited, and I hear so many great things about this book. I'm excited. Let's get into the last one. So, last on my list, you will not be surprised if you watched my series to get into, because I said I have never read The Lord of the Rings, and I have never read The Hobbit either. So, The Hobbit is my number 1 standalone to get into. I feel like I'm not doing the best as a fantasy reader and writer, since I haven't read anything from Tolkien. I do love the movies, and I definitely want to check out the books. I'm excited to check this one out at some point. The Hobbit, you know it, you love it, and hopefully I will too. I think I will. And that is my whole list of standalones that are my priorities. Those are the first standalones I will end up reading at some point. And what do you think of this list? What is not on this list that should be? Go ahead and throw it in the comments. I'd love to see it. And with all that said, I hope to see you in the next one. Like this video if you haven't. Subscribe if you want to. Love to see you around again. See you later.